Hey guys, this is Sarah's Night, and next chapter of our LP series on the Resident Evil games is Resident Evil Dead Aim. Let me turn that down a little bit. Yeah, it turns out for this particular game, Lantis won't be with me as he usually is. He's in an effort to get the game we're making with RPG Maker 1, which of course the Billions know about. Art Gareth, to get that kind of better ensure that it will get done this year, as much playtesting as we're going to today. He asked, let's try to hold off on weekends hanging out. We can come over to my house and we can get the Resident Evil games done for the LP. So, he just won the next several weekends devoted to working on Art Gareth, while I just said, okay, in order to kind of keep the flow going along, I'll just do the Dead Aim part by myself. This game came out on the PlayStation 2. It's one of the sequels to Resident Evil Survivor. I don't remember exactly how it goes, but it was like Resident Evil Survivor was called Gun Survivor in Japan, and I think how'd it go? I think the next game, Gaiden, where I might be totally wrong about this, and if somebody cares enough to correct me on it, I'd actually like to know, so just say in comments below. But I believe Resident Evil Gaiden was like Gun Survivor 2 or something in Japan, and then we didn't get Gun Survivor 3, maybe, and this is supposed to be Gun Survivor 4, Dead Aim. It just came out as Dead Aim in America. And you know what? The thing is, Dead Aim doesn't suck. This is actually going to be a lot more enjoyable playthrough than Survivor or Gaiden was. It's got the first-person perspective.
Midwestern town in the United States.
It's got the first-person perspective, just like the two Survivor games we've already been through. So
leaked throughout the town.
But I remember the controls were being a lot better, so I really didn't mind the first-person perspective deal.
Project. Once again, the threat of biological terror,
and the story was
thrust upon the
okay, I guess. It's just
a large amount
the
of
better controls already made it a much better game than Survivor or Gaiden. So
yesterday, one of Umbrella's cruisers was hijacked.
So this is another game taking place on a ship. I think that's the second game in this series so far that has done this, if not the third. So we had Gaiden before, and I know Resident Evil Revelation, which we'll do later on, as it's a more recent game, also takes place on a ship. So
why you
coming of
American
things.
spies choose to use such ugly guns?
Oh my gosh, and this Morpheus guy is gonna be the villain in our game. He's so friggin' flamboyant. I mean, why does it becomes such a stereotype after a while? You're like, can you really not make a villain any other way?
That cheap clothing wears.
I mean, I think this guy is almost as bad as Alfred Ashford.
I'm afraid that's all the playtime we have for today. Die.
And of course, Morpheus is going to take forever to shoot Bruce, who's this guy right here. I think we play as Bruce, and maybe this Chinese woman right here. Her name is like Fei Fong Long or something. Wait, I think that was the name of the guy from Xenogears. Sorry. Just some Chinese woman. I can't remember what her name is. Fong Ling. Yeah, I think it's Fong Ling. And of course, that's definitely not going to kill Morpheus off, since, as I said, he's the main villain of this game, I remember. He's hurt badly, but apparently not enough to shoot Bruce as he's fleeing. It just fire everywhere, really. The entire deck must have been coated in Okay, so what have we got here? Totally don't remember the controls. Okay, so we can use either the directional pad or the left analog stick in order to move about and turn as we move. And also, if he backs up, and I think the walking controls, they seem pretty fluent. That will definitely be a plus. I mean, I didn't remember exactly how the walking controls went, or that they were as fluent as they are. I just knew that combat and walking was much better in this. Had much better control in this game than Survivor. So yeah, Bruce led Morpheus when Fong Ling gave him the chance. And I think we just kind of dick around for a while to find the first key item, and then that's when all of a sudden all these dead bodies in the hall will actually reanimate as zombies. It's... it really is kind of a problem. Just... I suppose it's probably necessary sometimes, the sheer convenience, but... I mean, these guys haven't even come back as zombies yet from the T-Virus outbreak, and yet Bruce is totally fine. He's, he and Morpheus and Fong are on this ship so soon after, after the outbreak occurred, apparently. I mean, it couldn't have been that long since, like I said, the bodies are still cold, and yet, Bruce is totally fine right now. He's not going to be infected. Okay, so... and my aim was not dead on, hence the game. Yeah, this is going to be a while before I get good at this again. You actually... if you aim at just the right spot on the head, and it really isn't a it really isn't like a vague, it's not like an arbitrary thing. If you aim at just the right spot towards the top of the forehead, then you'll score a critical hit, and that will be the same as like a headshot in previous games, where the zombie is completely down. I mean, I actually kind of know where to aim for in a fight situation in order to score a critical hit. I was just, give me a break. It's been at least 8 years since I last played this, so it's going to be a while to get back used to it again. But I think combat in this game, despite having the first person perspective, was actually really enjoyable. So, yeah, you press L1 to go into combat mode. And just keep pressing, sorry, not L1, R1. To go into combat mode, and then you just keep pressing R1 to shoot after that. And just to get back out of it, I think all I had to do was, yeah, press up on the left analog stick, in case Bruce needs to, run and get some more space between him and multiple zombies. And that's the thing, a lot of the encounters in this game, I think, had an emphasis on having more than one zombie show up. So, that's where your, hence the name of the game, that's where your penchants for critical hit aiming is really going to help you out and save you from death. Okay, that door is locked. Had a key of some sort. Yeah, first class key. One problem I did have with this game, though, it seemed to be the first occurrence of just the virus used to get the storyline in motion here. In this game, it's called the TG virus, and it just... I mean, that's not the dumbest thing I've ever heard, but it's like, you really could have tried harder than that, And sure enough, it's just a combination, an effective combination of the T and G virus. which somehow, if I recall, it, you know, whoever takes a dose of it, there's actually like a high probability, or at least some probability, or maybe it's definite, I don't quite remember, that they're going to develop like an electromagnetic field around their body that will render them totally immune to small arms gunfire. So you end up needing like a rocket launcher or a space laser or some shit. And I don't know, it was just, you might as well just try to come up with a new virus entirely separate from the TNG rather than just like a combination of the two or a particular strain of it like T. Veronica. This time around, you really need to try to just come up with something better than that, I think. But it's, you know, not too big a deal. A large painting, The Birth of Venus, okay. Some people consider nudity an art. Alright, so there's no zombies here, period. Although I'm almost positive that this room will be a battleground later at some point, you know, where some of these zombies will be everywhere. Whoops, my bad. I was trying to remember if I needed to reload, and I couldn't remember which button that was. Okay, so all the doors on the bottom floor are apparently shuttered. We'll not be getting through them. At least not right now. The other thing was, a real negative with this game is Bruce and Fong aren't really, like, stupid, but they are some of the worst acting characters. You know, whoever did their voice acting, they're some of the flattest and most uninteresting characters in this series. I really, it was just like, I think it was just the necessity of, you know, hey, wouldn't it be cool if like an American and a Chinese government agent worked together to, you know, bring down the French this time. Yeah, Morpheus, his story is like, he was a part of one of the, you know, he was an employee at like one of Umbrella's like facilities based in France, and for whatever reason, I don't remember exactly how this, you know, exactly the politics of this, the nuances of it, but Umbrella made him the scapegoat for like the outbreak in Raccoon City, so it's like saying, hanging the responsibility on him. I don't remember exactly how that worked. But, you know, that's how it happened, so. And luckily, Bruce can shoot very fast with his handgun. And it really doesn't matter how many times you miss, as long as you're got a pretty high frequency of getting, you know, if you're pretty good at getting critical hits, then that kind of offsets, you know, your tendency to miss a lot. And more zombies here. And I'm trapped. And it really seems to hurt when a zombie latches onto Bruce. You just see him, like, you know, gagging as his carotid artery is being severed. Okay. Yeah, unless the crosshairs actually turn red, that means the bullets are gonna go over their head. Oh, and it seems like you automatically reload when you go out of battle mode. Okay, I guess that's useful. Okay, that was the door. Yeah, that was the door I came through just now. So. And so many zombies up here. As you can see, there's usually so many zombies at once, especially with a handgun. You definitely are not going to be able to fight everyone off unless you try to unless you try to do a crit. thus it's very helpful that Bruce's gun shoots so fast, because, I mean, if you just feel you don't have the time to try to aim for a crit, well then, you know, you gotta be able to shoot as fast as possible. And suddenly zombies are all up in here. Okay, I didn't think that would be a critical, but sure. Yeah, it's amazing how much I missed due to just the fact that the zombies bob their heads from side to side so much as they're coming at me. But I guess that's kind of what I'd expect them to do, as they're just shambling around, oblivious to anything but the need to feed. Okay, I think I just ran past a zombie without realizing it. Yeah, okay. I went through that door and 2 zombie guards were just right there. And now that I came back into the room from another direction, it's like they never knew I came through the first place. And that one's not even reacting to his friend getting shot. I kind of like, instead of the head exploding, I kind of like how they just decided to go with like a, you know, just like this brain splatter against the wall, and the zombie just goes flying backwards. Okay, so I'm not quite sure. Okay, obviously those 2 doors just kind of, you know, they got one ring connected, and that's where all I can go. That's all where I can go for now. I came from this way in the first place, I'm sure. So that must mean the other door on this side of the room, on the upper floor, is where I should go next. And boy, I hope I find some more bullets soon. Oh, well, no. This room is connected as well. And I think I was talking earlier when I picked up a key item, so let's just see what it was, and then maybe I'll know where to go next. If I can navigate my way around the menu easily enough. Okay, guest key card. So that's probably, I think that's a locked room across the across this area right here. And suddenly all the zombies are totally awake. Too bad, I don't suppose there's a quick turnaround button. And I think that was the... I think that red alert was that an enemy is coming off to the side. Oh boy. Okay, let's give us plenty of room here, since they all crowded on this side of the room. And then hopefully I can take the time to aim. There we go. Oh, okay, and you can use L2 to reload inside battle. Okay. Now I'm wondering, yeah, I assume I can take one more hit before I'll need to heal up. which would be approximately the same then as how much Jill or Claire or Leon could take in Resident Evil 2 and 3. Cutscene. Oh yeah, this is where Fong Ling shows up. And get a load of the voice acting.
We have until midnight tomorrow. Retrieve the virus from
Wait, you saved me earlier. You're Chinese security bureau, huh? Looks like we're in the same business.
Saying business doesn't mean saying side goes together.
You already know my name. That makes sense since you're blackmailing both of our crews. What's your name? If cooperation is too much to ask for on our first date, might I suggest we simply stay out of each other's way?
Follow me. That's my name. And I don't take freshmen. If you really want to help, then go ahead.
Which absolutely no practical purpose as far as I could tell for them not agreeing to help each other. So yeah, I'm gonna have to look. I'm gonna have to check it out on the wiki or something, because it's something like one of Bruce's superiors just radioed him and said that Morpheus is demanding like several $1 billion from America as a negotiation for like he's got like these T-virus missiles or something aimed at all the major cities in America or something like that. So he's demanding that they hand over a bunch of money to fund his new kingdom of beauty, and where beauty is the absolute authority. Yes, I'm not kidding. That is our villain's motivation. I mean, you kind of remember in the beginning, although I was talking at the time, he actually said something like to Bruce, "Why do you Americans use such ugly guns?" So he's got some kind of metrosexual narcissistic complex going on here. And yeah, he literally wants all this money from the United States government in order to fund a new kingdom in Africa or something where only the beautiful people will rule. And just like, what the hell? So yeah, in some ways the story actually is pretty stupid. At least, I mean, in terms of like the villain's motivations and just how ridiculous Bruce and Fong Ling, they act like two children here all throughout. And I mean, you heard the voice acting. It's like they sound so distant. That may not even be the actor's fault. But I mean, I'm not really seeing. It really doesn't feel like they're into, you know, they're into the characters that they're supposed to be performing here, and yet, I mean, that may very well be simply because it's like the boom mic was so far away from them. Well, I guess you don't need a boom mic in character voice acting, sorry, but you know, I guess just, you know, whatever microphone they were recording with, it's like it was so far away from them. They just sound so distant and wispy. I really don't know how else to say it. Okay. Fast-acting zombie there. And actually, apparently have like 3 levels of caution instead of just 2. And of course, since, you know, also since Fong Ling is like allegedly attractive and everything, you know, Bruce is finding some ways to flirt with her even in the midst of their rivalry. Okay. So apparently this may be like crew quarters, their bedrooms and stuff. Let's see what we can find. I didn't realize or remember that we had a Silent Hill thing going on here where you just see a bunch of doors to rooms everywhere, but in order to keep the game from being way too long to be places to explore, they just arbitrarily close them off. Just, I mean, I'm not saying there needs to be a big excuse for it. It's just like, if this door's closed, can't open it. Okay, here's a room that's open. And I believe in one of these rooms we get a silenced pistol, and that should be it right there. So I think that I think that there's kind of a trade-off between it and Bruce's regular handgun. It's like it won't shoot as fast, but if you come into a situation where the zombies really hadn't noticed you, you can use the silenced pistol to kind of like try to, you know, one-shot them one at a time without without grabbing other zombies' attention. Okay, good. We have a safe room right here, and I think you just go around to the other side in order to progress. But so before we call it a video here, why don't I just go ahead and see if there's anything else further down in this area. Okay, just a window right there. Let's check the map. Okay, well, let's see the hallway with 2 rooms down to the south, and there's another room there. Yeah, if there's a way to look close up on this, I'm not sure. But I do like that they go ahead and use blue lines to remind you that that door is sealed off, so there's nothing to explore in that area. Okay, well, no, that was entirely closed off then. It's this, it's door to this room I failed to catch the first time. Anything in particular? So yeah, also if you hold down the X button, Bruce will just kind of take that battle ready pose and sneak around. Nah, I really see no point in it thus far. Okay, well, I'd say that's about it. Yeah, we'll just get back to the save room here, and that'll be a video right there, and I'll, if I can remember where the save room is, which direction, and I'll start up from there again next time. Thanks for watching, guys.